Good afternoon. It's 59 degrees in Richland Center at 12:09. For WRCO News, I'm Joanne Krulotz. Fire danger is high across Wisconsin today. The DNR is enforcing burn bans in many areas due to dry conditions caused by a lack of precipitation the past month and the drying of vegetation this fall. Most of Wisconsin is experiencing drought or abnormally dry conditions. Richland County and the surrounding area is currently considered to be in a moderate drought condition. The fire danger is also high. The combination of low relative humidity, gusty south winds, and dry fuels will result in elevated fire weather conditions this afternoon across southwest into central Wisconsin. Afternoon relative humidity values will fall into the lower to mid 20%, with south winds of 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting from 25 to 30 miles per hour. Under these conditions, fire will start and spread easily. Due to fire weather conditions, burning is not allowed today. All DNR-issued burning permits are suspended. Burning in barrels, debris piles, and grass or wooded areas with your DNR annual burning permit is prohibited. Campfires, though strongly discouraged, are allowed if used solely for cooking or warming purposes, but please use extreme caution. Consider having small campfires in a designated fire ring or device in the evening hours to avoid burning under elevated fire conditions typically found during the day. There have been already 8 wildfires this week across the state. You can visit the DNR's website to see the most recent dashboard. Farmers who were impacted by Hurricane Helene are getting help from Wisconsin farmers by delivering hay for their animals in North Carolina and Tennessee. A Merrill farmer, Hans Breitenmoser, sent 54 large bales of hay to North Carolina. He says it was important for him to give back to those who need it most. This initiative was started by Freemark Innovations, a window supplier in Merrill. So far, 10 trucks from across the country have delivered hay to states impacted by the hurricanes. They said that they've gathered 14,000 large round bales, 450 large square bales, and 4,000 small bales of hay through donations. They are currently looking for more drivers to take more hay down to impacted states. Senator Tammy Baldwin is pushing the USDA to assist western Wisconsin farmers affected by the sudden closure of a Minnesota-based poultry producer, leaving farmers on the hook to feed for tens of thousands of chickens. Baldwin said in her letter that the USDA should provide financial assistance to affected farmers and promote legislation to avoid this situation in the future. Minnesota and Iowa state governments were able to help farmers, but no such law existed for this situation in Wisconsin. Wisconsin high schools are getting new AEDs. The Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association says the new initiative is aimed at enhancing the safety and well-being of student athletes, coaches, and spectators across the state. 24 schools throughout Wisconsin are getting the AEDs, with 14 distributed randomly and 10 given out using Department of Public Instruction data. Sudden cardiac arrest is a leading cause of death among young athletes. AEDs, when used promptly, can significantly increase the chances of survival. Levitt is set to resign as UWO Chancellor. Andrew Levitt became the 11th Chancellor for UW-Oshkosh when he took over in 2014, and he will continue as a faculty member and professor of chemistry. Levitt says he always believed a 10-year term would be sufficient, and serving longer deprives UW-Oshkosh of the fresh vision it deserves. Universities of Wisconsin President Jay Rothman says he is grateful for Levitt's service to UW-Oshkosh, its campus community, and the entire state. Levitt is now the 3rd chancellor in the UW system to announce their departure this year. Levitt's resignation goes into effect June 30th of next year. State Senator Joan Ballweg has been honored by the Wisconsin Counties Association with a WCA Outstanding Legislator Award for her work on behalf of county government during the 2023-24 legislative session. The WCA Outstanding Legislator Award is handed out biennially to a select group of legislators who have represented county interest in both the legislature and in their districts. These legislators have demonstrated leadership for counties on key issues, legislation, and the state budget. WCA represents the interest of county government both on the state and federal levels and is in Madison. For more information, visit wicounties.org. The Wisconsin Association for Home Health Care has announced that State Senator Howard Markline has been recognized as a champion of home health care for the 2023-24 state legislative session. This designation is meant to publicly identify legislators for their exceptional work to promote the expanded utilization of skilled home health care as an effective, affordable option for post-acute medical care. As the Senate co-chair of the Joint Committee on Finance, Senator Markline led the approval of the fiscal year 2023-25 budget that included a continuation of the Federal American Rescue Plan Act, home and community-based services, 5% increase from April 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. This rate increase has helped home health agencies attract and retain a qualified workforce and ensure access to care. Vice President Kamala Harris will be in Wisconsin today for a trio of campaign appearances. The Democratic presidential candidate will be in La Crosse, Milwaukee, and Green Bay in her sixth trip to Wisconsin since she became the party's nominee this summer. Her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, was in Wisconsin earlier this week. After a number of visits, Republican nominee Donald Trump has no event scheduled for Wisconsin. He's making appearances in other battleground states this week. Wisconsin voters wishing to use ballot drop boxes will have far fewer opportunities than in the past. Wisconsin Elections Commission Administrator Megan Wolf says available data indicates that there are at least 78 drop boxes in use in at least 48 communities across Wisconsin. Local clerks are not required to notify WEC if they plan to use the boxes. In 2020, there were approximately 500 drop boxes in use for the presidential election, and for the many years prior to the 2020 election, there were many additional drop boxes in use as well. In 2022, the Wisconsin Supreme Court's conservative majority struck down their use. The court's liberal majority reversed that decision earlier this year. Madison and Milwaukee have 14 drop boxes apiece. Racine has 7. All three cities are Democratic strongholds. Most municipalities that report having drop boxes have just one, usually located near City Hall. Absentee voting in Wisconsin begins next Tuesday. All three election workers in a Wisconsin town of about 800 people resigned last week over a long-standing dispute just ahead of the start of in-person absentee voting in the crucial swing state and a month before the November 5th election. An interim clerk was appointed last week to oversee elections in the central Wisconsin town of Westfield, where 538 people cast ballots in the 2020 presidential election. President Joe Biden won Wisconsin by just under 21,000 votes in 2020, but he lost in Westfield by 137 votes. Courtney Trimble, deputy clerk in Marquette County, where Westfield is located, will take the job temporarily. The Wisconsin State Journal reported Wednesday. Trimble said 6 volunteers stepped forward after she was appointed, and several others had previously volunteered after the resignations earlier in the week. The dispute that led to the resignations is part of a long-running local rift related to a former town board chair who lost a recall election last month, according to the State Journal. The city of Green Bay is not exactly leaping to extend the Packers' Lambeau Field lease, so the team is asking the Green Bay Professional Football Stadium District to step in. On Wednesday, the team released letters it sent both to Green Bay Mayor Eric Gingrich and to the Stadium District Board. The Packers' lease for Lambeau Field with Green Bay and the Stadium District ends in 2032. There are options to extend it 10 additional years, but the Packers recently tried extending it by 30 years until about 2063. The team says Gingrich has not met with its officials since January, and that Gingrich requested that any further discussions be preceded by a meeting with Packers president, CEO Mark Murphy. The Packers say the two met in May, but Gingrich canceled a follow-up meeting in September and has not rescheduled. The reports of white powder has led to an arrest. Tuesday morning around 11:10, the Iowa County 911 Center received a call on County Highway Q in the township of Dodgeville in reference to a suspicious bag of white powder in a mailbox. An Iowa County deputy responded and investigated the substance. Around 12:15, the Iowa County 911 Center received a call on East North Street in the city of Dodgeville regarding a suspicious bag of white powder in a mailbox. A city of Dodgeville officer responded and investigated the substance. In both cases, law enforcement was able to remove the bag and test the substance. Both bags tested presumptive positive for the presence of fentanyl and cocaine. Due to the diligent work of members from the Dodgeville Police Department, Iowa County Sheriff's Office, and the Richland, Iowa Grant Drug Task Force, Tyler W. Marking, 29 of Dodgeville, was taken into custody at 6:10 Tuesday night. Marking was transported to the Iowa County Jail, where he remains on a probation hold. Marking was also booked on charges of felony second-degree recklessly endangering safety, felony delivery of cocaine, felony delivery of fentanyl, felony possession of silicon, and misdemeanor possession of drug paraphernalia. The investigation shows that this was a targeted act and there is no known danger to the public. Citizens are, however, encouraged to always contact law enforcement when becoming aware of suspicious items or substances. It's time for this week's Richland County History Moment with Richland County Historical Society President Ken Thied.
The title reads, Pheasants are prize when season opens Saturday. And now for a Richland County Historical Society History Moment. Here's the rest of the story. According to an article in the Muscatine Progressive dated October 15th, 1964, now over 60 years ago. Are you old enough to recall hunting opportunities around the Richland County area? The story reads as follows. The final opening of the various small game seasons in Wisconsin is noon this Saturday when pheasants, rabbits, and raccoons become legal game. Pheasant hunting, limited mainly to the public hunting grounds, and the stocked birds will get most of the attention. Birds are stocked in Avoca in Iowa County and north of Gotham for Richland County in the area by the Conservation Department and local conservation clubs. Rabbits are expected to be in short supply again this year. Some ridge farmers have been reporting seeing pheasants recently, an unusual condition, as mostly the birds are stocked and concentrated in the river bottoms. A check with the Conservation Department revealed that the hill birds have not been stocked by that organization. The opening of duck season last Saturday provided good shooting for many hunters with mallards in good supply and several goose kills reported from their blinds. Go Wild agent WI.gov has pheasant season in 2024 statewide opening October 19th at 9 a.m. Listen next week for the history of Richland County, covering then President George W. Bush giving a campaign speech at Richland Center High School the year 2004, now 20 years ago.
The Richland County Historical Society appreciates your support. It's been a great year with many new family, individual, and business members. Would you consider joining? For just $10 a year, individuals or families can be a member. Yearly memberships for businesses, just $20. A lifetime membership is available for just $100. Membership payments and donations can be sent to the Richland County Historical Society, 213 South Central Avenue, Apartment 1, Richland Center, Wisconsin, 53581. The Society hopes you're enjoying these weekly history moments.
The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources reminds hunters and the general public that the 2024 pheasant season opens at 9 o'clock Saturday morning and runs through Sunday, January 5th. The opening weekend has a daily bag limit of 1 rooster per day. Starting Monday, the daily bag limit increases to 2 roosters per day. This limit remains in place for the remainder of the season. The DNR plans to stock approximately 75,000 pheasants from the state game farm on over 80 properties statewide. Depending on production levels, pheasants are released once before the pheasant hunting season and up to twice a week for the first 2 to 3 weeks of the season. After that, birds are released about once a week until the 9-day gun deer season opens November 23rd. And stocking resumes once per week on only a handful of properties following the 9-day gun deer season. Hunters can use the DNR's Fields and Forest Lands interactive game bird hunting tool to locate properties stocked with pheasants. The tool also allows hunters to use aerial maps, topography, and measuring tools to identify areas of interest and make their trips more productive and enjoyable. For more information, including complete pheasant hunting regulations, shooting hours, and helpful tips, visit the DNR's Pheasant Hunting webpage. It's Cranberry Farmer Appreciation Week. Think about all the hardworking farmers who have shaped the state's agricultural landscape for generations. Cranberry farming in Wisconsin has deep roots, dating back to the indigenous tribes such as the Menominee, Ojibwa, and Ho-Chunk, who harvested the berries with their bare hands. As time went on, farming technology and harvesting methods began to rapidly change. Now producing 60% of the nation's cranberry supply, for 29 consecutive years, the state has held the title for top cranberry producer in the U.S., making the fruit a key player in the state's economy. This spotlight shines on these dedicated farmers this week as their commitment to sustainable practices ensures that cranberry farming remains a cornerstone of Wisconsin's heritage for generations to come. And this growing season, cranberry farmers had to deal with many different weather variations. As harvest is now underway, farmers across the state say they have been pleased with the plant's product this season. Cross Currents Heritage Center is an educational and cultural organization committed to preserving and interpreting the natural, indigenous, and European settler history of southwest Wisconsin. It is located on the Tippasawkee Farm Rural Historic District. We'll be offering tours, classroom visits, teacher training, and other programs, workshops, and events, often in partnership with others. Cross Currents Heritage Center will host Old Seeds, New Growth, stories about trees, seeds, and growing strong Saturday from 3:30 to 5. Ben Moffitt is an organizer of the event.
My wife, who's born and raised in Hawaii, is going to do a storytelling show that she's done there many times. And she tells some traditional Hawaiian stories. She also does some Hawaiian chant. And she surprises you with her amazing story skirt, which she sewed herself. And I won't give everything away, but there are all sorts of pockets and things that come out of it. And the reason we're doing it is because in these woodlots and on the farm, we're trying to protect and preserve the native species. And so her story is about native Hawaiian trees and plants. And she will tell some stories, native Hawaiian stories that are about trees.
The program will be held in the old house, which means seating is limited to 25. If you are interested in attending, it is best to RSVP.
Send an email to crosscurrentsheritage@gmail.com. crosscurrentsheritage@gmail.com. There's more information at crosscurrents.org and at our Facebook page, Cross Currents Heritage Center.
The farm is located at 14640 State Highway 60 near Port Andrew. Greater Richland Area Cancer Elimination, is known as GRACE, will hold its annual meeting tonight at the Phoenix Center and Richland Center. All teams are encouraged to attend to receive plaques and plates. Research checks will also be handed out. All are also encouraged to attend to hear a special fundraising announcement. A free will lasagna meal will also be available from 5 to 6.